Hi guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ndara Suweda, and in this channel we talk about all things personal finance, understanding all the financial investment vehicles and techniques that are out there, making sure that we rightfully use them towards our goals and ultimately achieve that financial freedom. So today I bring you one of those techniques that can get us closer to our financial freedom, and it is an investment app. So I will be reviewing the Franc investment app. I will be doing number one, giving you concept of where it comes from so that you can interact with it better, because I believe the more we know better, the more we do better, right? So I will give you how it works so that you can interact with it better, and I will do the app overview where I go through a practical steps of how to one, open the app. I'll give you hints because I've already opened the app, but I will also do practical steps of how to create an investment account. And thirdly, I will highlight some of the key features that are found on the Franc App Pro. I will also speak about how it's different from the others. And thirdly, I will give you my honest review and feedback on how my experience has been so far. Right. So before we can get started, I want to highlight that Frank is sponsoring this video. Yay, yay. I'm so glad about it because in 2023, I remember reaching out to Frank asking them to partner with me because I could see that there is some value that people who are watching my video can benefit from. And I believe this is the right time for you guys to be able to learn more about the Franc app and figure out how it is better compared to what is out there and why I was even interested to engage with them in the first place, right? As I always say, when we know better, we do better, okay? So I'm a strong believer that you need to invest in knowledge, and they also believe in that, so we are aligned when it comes to principles in the journey of investing. So I want to educate you guys on how it works and also my thinking process as I'm making decisions, because I will be showing you what my process or my thought process looks like when I'm investing or while I was engaging with the app, so that you can get to learn something. And then if you're a beginner, you will get a chance to actually start and familiarize yourself on how it works, so that when you go and interact with the app itself, it doesn't feel like a new place, right? So I'll make it as easy and simple as possible for you to be able to find it easy to interact with the app. And yes, if you're looking to join or start your investment, you can, click on the link on my bio and start the investment process after this video, okay? And also, if you've already started on your investment journey, you can also check out the link just so you can figure out if there's a way in which you can diversify your portfolio, or if you want to sharpen your investment strategy. Okay, so like I said, when we know better, we do better. So I hope that after this video, there's something that you got that can improve your investment journey. Okay, the Franc app is a financial services provider that is registered with the FSCA. So the beautiful thing about them is that as soon as you open their app, you get to see their FSP number, which for me, it's a beautiful strategy to give people confidence, and so that you can know that they are a credible services provider. So for reference purposes, their FSP number is 49998. Okay, it's 49998. You can check them out on the FSCA website. Okay, so firstly, I want to talk about where the concept of Franc comes from, and you will understand when I'm explaining why this is important, right? So the Franc app, or this investment platform, was created to simplify our investment journey. And why is this important? I think we can all agree that the traditional investment ways was so complex, or has been so complex, and there was a lot of use of jargons where it made it so difficult and discouraging for some of us who do not have financial background to feel like we can also invest. So the simplified version of investing or investing platforms makes it easy for us to do it, and not only do it, but to do it successfully and also get something out of it. So that's where the basis of the Franc app comes from. It's a simplified version of investing. And you will know why I'm saying this, right? Number one, like I said, there's no jargons and it's clear and guided, right? What do I mean by guided? There's a lot of calculators that you can use to be able to understand, if I put in this much, approximately how much will I be able to get? I think as an investor, most of the time, this is something that we are most likely to be looking forward to understand, and we never get clarity in regards to how that looks like, right? And also, they do a questionnaire where they ask you questions about your risk appetite, where you get to answer certain questions, which helps them to identify the kind of risk you fall in. And then when they do that, it's quite easier for them to know what product they can offer to you based off of your risk appetite. And of course, most of the time, the risk is determined, the type of account that they will recommend is determined by, the time frame in which you're looking to put your money. I will encourage you to do those simulations as much as possible so that you can find your sweet spot, right? You can find your sweet spot in regards to how much do you want to put in, and how much risk do you want to expose your capital in, and how much return you are anticipating, right? So the second way in which they simplify the investment journey is what they offer. They only offer three funds. Three funds. Have you ever heard of the term analysis paralysis? This is when you just keep on feeling like you have not analyzed enough, right? And you do not want to invest because you feel like you have not analyzed enough. Maybe they start getting scared, they start feeling like there's a lot that they need to know. But when you're offered three funds, I feel like that's much easier. You don't have to like go and analyze the market every day for you to be a stock market investor. You can be a stock market investor by just choosing one of the three accounts. So the first account is the Allen Gray Money Market account. This is the cash account where you have your government, your corporate, as well as bank in there. And also for local equity, you have Cetrix Top 40, where you get the top 40 companies that are listed on the JSE. And then on the offshore, you have the S&P 500 that is offered by Signia. So those are the three accounts. So it's clearly defined already. You can see that one is for cash, one is for local equity, the other one is for offshore account. So it's quite clear what you're getting yourself into. Thirdly, there are no minimums. If you can go directly to one of these institutions that provides this unit trust or these funds, you will realize that they want minimum amount for you to start investing. But here we are able to enter into the investment journey with as little as what we have. Okay, so now I will go through the walk you through the app itself. And firstly, I want to talk about the registering process. Okay, so for me, I found the registering process very simple. When you start, right, and you open the app and you put in your email address and you create your password, right, you can go to profile to be able to fill out more of your details within the app. This is important because you get to even verify your account. You FICA verify your account by just providing your ID, copy of your ID. If it's an ID card, you take a picture of back and front, and then you can upload the picture on the app, or you can send an email and send copy of that. And then even that takes such a quick time, right? And then you will also need to verify your number, which is something easy. Something that is important for you to do is also to do your risk assessment. This risk assessment is the one that I said will guide them to be able to identify the kind of account, the kind of funds that you can invest in, right? So, firstly, they will ask how old are you? You will put your age in there, right? And then they will ask what is the net monthly income that you get. To be honest, guys, here you need to be as honest as possible because there is no need for you to lie, because this is to help you to be able to have an understanding of how your journey could be, like to be able to be offered a product that is more aligned with where you are financially. So you put your income in there, and then they also ask, like, typically what is the cost of your what are typical cost, right, monthly. And this is funny because a lot of times when you ask people, do you know how much you spend, do you know how much income you get, people will give you a clear answer that is a yes, right? But if we go to your banking statement and check, your banking statement will be contradictory to what you say. So please make sure that you know for sure by doing constant review of your banking statement, so you know how much you spend monthly, right? So you will put that amount, and then they will ask you how much money do you owe. If you have any credit that you're owing, credit card, you will then put it in there. Personal loans, if you have, you put it in there. And then they say, how will your income change in the next few years? Well, I hope your income increases, okay? Yes, it will increase. And then what is the highest level of your education? You will have to put it in there. And then they will ask, how will you pay for this for how will you pay for large expenses? And this is an important question because it's to see if you will need this money, or if this you can lock up your money for a longer period, right? Pick one that is associated with you, and it says, how much do you currently have saved or invested, right? I know this number, and I'm challenging you to go and find out this number. This is inclusive of your retirement, your other savings, and your investments, right? I did my homework, so I know how much I already have invested. Right. And I got the recommendation. My recommendation is bold. They say this fund mix gives you the best chance of growing your money over a long term, but it also the most risk option. Why did you get this result? They're explaining. Bold investors have to be willing to put off selling their investment for a long period of 10 years. It if market conditions are weak. Okay. And then I proceeded. And then my profile is completed, right? And then I go to the feature which shows the house that's home. And then for me, because I've already engaged with this platform, it shows my investment portfolio. But for you, it can say start here. And when it does say start here, it will show you that there are three simple steps to be able to start investing. Number one would be to choose the goal, like for what are you saving for or investing for. Number two, to be able to then choose how, and that is those accounts that will be provided, or funds that will be provided to you based on the risk that has been identified or associated with you and the answers you have given. And you have an option to change if you feel like you've been recommended a fund that is less riskier than what you're willing to take, or if you feel like you've been given a fund that is more riskier than what you're willing to take. So you can make those changes. And then lastly, then you can make that deposit. Okay. So three simple steps, and then you're invested. It's as simple as that, guys. Right. But firstly, I want to do a walkthrough of what is being offered. Right. You have a savings account. Within the savings account, you're given an Allen Gray money market account. That's what you will be able to get access to. I'll be talking more on the investment side. So within the investment, you have investment goals. So you can make investment goals based on what you are investing for, right? And I love these goal-based investments because I always say that if you do not know where you're going, any direction can lead you there. And one of the reasons why people set themselves up for investment failures or withdrawal of their investment when they've put money away, it's because they do not know what they're saving for. Let me give you an example. If you're saving for education for your child, or you're saving for a new house, deposit for a new house, there is no way you will go back and withdraw from that, because it's a goal that is aligned with what you're trying to do, it's aligned with your growth, right? But if you just put money away and you don't give it a name, it's quite easier for you to go and withdraw that. So I love that they link an investment that you do with a particular goal that you're trying to achieve. So hence it's called investment goals. So we'll talk more about it. Let me talk about other offerings that they have, and then we'll come back to investment goals. They also have a tax-free savings account. Yay! As you guys know, I am a strong advocate for a tax-free savings account. I believe this is where everyone should start and maximize on investing without their money getting taxed. Unfortunately, today that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about goal-based investing. So we'll get back to it as soon as I'm done. You also have savings pot. You also have a child's account. You also have a Bitcoin goal as well. So there's quite a lot of offerings that you can get. And of course, depending on the type of account that you have, which I will give you a view of the differentiator between the different accounts at a later stage. Now, going back into goal-based investing, which is my favorite, right? You will click on the goal there so that you can create a goal. It will give you multiple options on what you are investing towards, right? They have emergency fund in there, they have wealth in there, they have personal, they have property, family, education, retirement, business, wedding, etc. There is a lot of things that you could be saving towards, right? So you can just, put whatever that you're saving on. And I see that emergency fund is the most popular. I'm actually proud of Franc App users for being popular for emergency fund, because one of the reasons why we do not reach the investment goals that we set for ourselves, it's simply because we then have emergency that we didn't prepare for, right? And then we get to withdraw from the investments that we put away. So it's important for you to know what your emergency fund looks like. And if you have an emergency fund, start building one. If you don't, and you can also use the Franc app, and you can also use my link so that Frank can know that I reminded you to open up the emergency fund, right? But as for me, I am building wealth. I am a wealth girly. And then they say, how do you want to invest? I find this feature so good because you can choose towards a target, which allows you to be able to be target based, right? So I'm going to start with it because I found it fascinating. If you select target based, right? It will ask you how much target do you want to save? Let's say, for an example, I want to save 24,000, right? And then they will tell you how long do you want to save it for? I want to save it for a year, meaning that next year, July, the same time, right? And they will say, and you are very safe, which means that they are offering or recommending this particular product, which is 7%, right? When I click on that arrow, it then gets to show me the various options that I can choose from, right? I can then go to, either the safe or either the balanced or either the bold or or customize my own mix of fund, right? And it will also recommend the amount of money that you need to save to achieve that 24,000. For me, I chose, safe instead of very safe. Very safe was offering 7%, but safe is offering between 7 and 8.5, right? And it's not a matter of just selecting the one with higher interest or the higher percentage of growth, because these are calculated based on the risk that you're willing to take. So it's not just about, higher performance, it's also about the risk associated with that. So you know that the higher the potential growth, the higher the risk is associated with that as well. So with the safe, it then says I need to save at least 1,930 per month to be able to achieve that's 24,000 in the next 12 months, okay, in 1 year. And then they will say recommended strategy. Your target date is less than 3 years away. We highly recommend that you don't take any investment risk, which will ensure that your savings are protected and can earn as much interest as possible. So because I went with the product that is not what they recommended, they're actually giving me caution to say, hey, we recommended the very safe option simply because you are only saving for the next 12 months. Therefore, you do not have a chance for your money to recover in case there's any losses, right? So, like I said, it's not just about selecting, it's about understanding why you're offered the risk or the fund that you're offered because it's in alignment with the risk that you have gotten by the question you have answered, but at the same time, using the number of years that you are expecting to get your return. Because if it's a short term, like, less than 3 years, you want your money now. So you cannot afford to lose your capital because therefore it defies the purpose of investing if you then lose your money, right? So they only offer the more riskier products the longer you're willing to keep your money there, right? And then, of course, if you want to change your option, you can then go back and then get to change that option. Okay. So I only did this exercise just for you guys to see how it works when you're choosing a goal, when you're choosing an investment goal based on the target that you're willing to get. But as for me, I am personally a long-term investor and I prefer to do regular investment. So now let's go to what I am personally doing. Okay. So we go back and then we select invest regularly. So if you invest, how much do you want to invest? I want to invest 2,000 Rand per month and I want to invest it for 10 years, right? And it already says that I am on bold. And of course, that bold then is if you click the information, it will tell you that this investment strategy depends on the time horizon and your personal risk. The personal risk profile is the questions that I've answered. You can take your own risk quiz to better understand what investment strategy is better for you. So if you have not already taken the quiz from your profile as you're registering the account, you can get a chance to take the quiz now, but recommendably, you should take it when you're registering, right? And then I'm doing it for 10 years because it allows more of my money to make more money, right? So more interest on interest. For me, that's the way to go. And I'm a firm believer of doing it consistently so that I can see tangible results that comes from money that seems small. Okay. So based on the assessment, they're saying in 10 years time, I could have, right? I could have 482,050 Rand based on the 2,000 Rand that I put monthly for 10 years on a bold investment risk that gives about 10 to 15% return. I could get 482,050 Rand, right? And I said proceed, right? When I say proceed, it just gives me more details of the account that I have chosen. As for me, I proceeded because I didn't want to change anything. The recommendation there was 40% of local equity, which is the top 40 from Cetrix, and offshore equity fund was 40%, which is the Signia S&P 500, and the Allen Gray money market, which is the cash component, was 20%. I feel like it's quite balanced. It gives me diversification in geography. It also gives me diversification in terms of companies that I have because I have 40 companies in South Africa, and I also have 500 company in the US, and I also have the cash component to balance to mitigate my risks. Okay. So then I confirm and I proceed, right? And then it says, well done, share your new goal or go to your portfolio. And then I can go to my portfolio, right? And then the reason why it's taking me to my portfolio is that so I can make a deposit, right, into that investment goal. Then I can just say click deposit, right? I've already deposited, guys. I'm doing this so I can show you. And then when you click deposit, it will give you two options. It will say that you can make the deposit via instant EFT, right? This means that if you go through the first option, your money will reflect immediately, which I love so much because that's the one I used. I hate waiting and following up on whether my money reflected, whether it's 2 working days, 3 working days, and so forth. So hence I preferred the instant EFT. right? And there's also an option of depositing via a banking app. You can also use that option. I didn't use it. However, if you put your amount and you go through the steps, at the end, it will be able to give you the banking details of Frank, and you'll be able to deposit directly, or you would be able to just pay from the app itself. Okay. So you can just follow the steps that is within the second option, which is paying from your own app. Okay, so one of the things that is important to note is that Frank is a registered beneficiary to, I believe, Capitec. So if you go to your Capitec app and then search for beneficiary, which is Frank Stockfell, you will be able to find them. And without copying anything and missing one number, it's much easier to just find them that way. Okay, so then you have deposited money and your money is in there and you are an investor. Okay, I am happy about that because I'm looking forward to seeing my 482,050 Rand investment growth after 10 years. So I will constantly give you guys feedback on how this investment journey is going. I'm not the type of person who do things once and forget about them and be surprised that they went the way they went. I'm very intentional about what I do. I will be able to, give you feedback and keep you posted on what's working and what's not working at a later stage. So now I want to walk you through the different accounts that they have. You heard me talking about the pro account. There's also a starter account. A starter account is the default account that you could get as soon as you open the Franc app. And then if you upgrade, you will go to the pro. And then after the pro, you will go to the hustler account. So I want to walk you through what is different between the three accounts. First of all, is the charges per month, right? On the starter account, you pay 19 Rand per month, but you only pay that amount if you do not invest anything on that month. So you need to make sure that you have your monthly investment. For me, I understand that because it is challenging you to have a monthly a target that you put aside to be able to invest towards your goal so that you can achieve it, right? And the more you invest monthly, the more gradual your growth is. And the more you are able to achieve your plans or your goal that you've set for yourself. Okay. So what the starter account offers is that it has two personal goals accounts and it has one shared goals, right? I will explain what that shared goal is about. And it has one child's account and it also has an option of investing in Allen Gray Money Market, Citrix Top 40 and S&P 500 or a mixture of those. And also you have an option of a tax-free savings account. You also have an option of a savings account that is offering 5.5%, right? The difference between savings and investing is that, someone who's saving is investing is saving for the short period of time and they want accessibility to their money and they do not want to put their money at a place where it can potentially lose, so they want to preserve their cash but at the same time getting something back, right? So which is the opposite with investment, because you want to look into long-term horizon. You also understand that your money, in as much as can give you return, there's potential risk involved, but because you're investing longer term, there's potential of recovery of your money. So that's what differentiates the two. Okay, so on a starter account, you have a savings account that is offering 5.5%. Now we can go to the pro account. Pro, then you pay 49 Rand per month, right? And you have four personal goals account, meaning that you can choose to save for your house, for building wealth, for education, and for your child. Okay. But the beauty about this is that you also have three children account, meaning that for saving for your child, you can just open it from the children's account. Okay. You also have two shared goals, which I will speak about shared goal later. shared goals later. You also have Bitcoin goals. You also have an option of a mixture of Allen Gray money market account, Cedric's top 40, S&P 500, and you also have an option of a financial advisor, and you also have an option of Franc personal onboarding, right? Guys, please utilize this. If you have upgraded to Franc Pro, please utilize the financial advisor. I have my consultancy in 5 days time because I set it up today to look into my finances holistically. It gets to make you understand like what aspect of your finances does what you're trying to do fit into your holistic view of finance. For me, that is more important than you just pumping in money into this app. Okay, so utilize that if you have the pro account where you pay 49 rand per month. And also they have Frank onboarding consultancy. I enjoyed a call with the consultant who helped me, who onboarded me. In as much as the app is simple to use, those small things that you feel like you don't understand can differentiate your journey entirely. Someone can say Frank is so easy because they asked the relevant questions and got the feedback, but yet you didn't utilize it even when you're using the pro account. So if you have a pro account and you have a question regarding the app and the functionality and setting it up, make sure that you book your appointment and get a call and ask your questions. Okay, what else did I miss? They also have there is no fee when you are on the pro for children's account, and you also have a tax-free savings account. And the most beautiful one is that on your savings account you get 7%. So for a pro account, they're trying to make sure that you diversify your portfolio, you increase your investment capacity. So then they give you free access to the pro account if your account is over 100,000 rand. Then they also have what is called the hustlers account, where they offer you, sorry, let's start with the price. It's 189 per month. The hustler is more on, businesses or freelancers. So what you get is that you have one hustler's goal. You have an option to link your bank account. You have your income and expenses tracking. You have your profit and loss reporting, and you have your tax planning. And you can free trial this for 14 days, which is so good because I think as a person who runs a business or a hustler, you want to know all of this. Okay. So now going into my honest review of the app, all right? I think starting with the positive, to be honest, I love how simplified it is and how it offers a lot, but yet in a simplified format. That's number one. And then number two, I love that you know what you're getting yourself into. Number three is the risk assessment. It's quite important that everyone who's investing or getting themselves in an investment journey is aware that there's potential loss that can come with investing. And when they ask you risk assessment questions, they link the funds that they can recommend to you with your appetite plus the time horizon of what you're trying to do, which for me it's just makes investment again much more simpler, right? And a little bit of a feedback to the Frank team is that I realized that you cannot transfer money from your savings account, from your savings goal that you have created to your investment goal. So if you want to do that, you need to withdraw money from your savings and then deposit it back to your investment goal. For me, that is a little bit more administrative work that I hope that is being worked on. However, I know that you can transfer money from, let's say for an example, you have an Allen Gray component, you can transfer it into your top 40 or your S&P 500, which is really good. And again, as someone who wants to contribute money on a monthly basis, I was looking for a feature in the app that can allow me to set up monthly debit. And I believe that that's not currently in place. And hopefully they are working on that because I'm a firm believer in doing it slowly, bit by bit, but consistently. And that's how you get to see people retiring with millions, 2 millions, 3 million, 5 million without having to feel that huge impact. Is that they do it gradually over a long period of time. And that is my personal strategy. Lastly, I would like to ask you to go and click on the link on my description to be able to understand more of the app itself, because outside of just registering and getting to invest, they have education material that I personally found very helpful, so you can get to learn more. So go use my link on my description and register, and then educate yourself. When you get more education, again, when you know better, you do better, and then you will start depositing and investing, and then do it bit by bit, grow gradually. As your confidence grow, let your money grow, and then we are investors. Goodbye.